You're mean.
Uh-oh.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender. Spring will be here soon, so if buying a new home is on your to-do list, right now is the time to call Quicken Loans. Learn about which mortgage options make sense for you and get a jump on your competition. With our exclusive Rate Shield approval, the low rate you lock today is protected for up to 90 days while you shop for your new home. With a Rate Shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays locked. But if rates go down, you get that new, even lower rate. Either way, you win. Talk to us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com to take advantage. Here's another great reason to work with us. For a record 9 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. Again, to lock in today's low mortgage interest rate and get the security of our exclusive Rate Shield approval, call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
I'm here.
Hi, welcome to the Subway ad for the new Sesame Ginger Glazed Chicken Signature Wrap. How would you like it?
I'll take
a sports announcer at home. Yeah, how'd you just know?
My wife picks up the new signature wrap. It's got double the rotisserie-style chicken mix with a sesame ginger glaze. She appears annoyed at me, but she shrugs it off. Those sweet and savory flavors are calling her in. She lifts the wrap and she takes the bite. Incredible! And now she's closing the door on my... Subway, make it what you want.
Limited time only at participating restaurants. Double meat based on average 6-inch sub.
I'm little teapot, short and stout.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Thoughts of suicide may feel impossible to overcome, but with help and support, you can find hope and meaning. Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK to speak to a counselor, or visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. It's free, it's confidential, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And even if it feels like it, you are not alone.
For the second time this evening. How are y'all? Actually, I was talking to Aggie the first time, but welcome to the Red Wine. We're on the couch, and I'm claiming to be drunk. Or either that, or I've been dropping acid with Senator Kennedy. Tonight, we have two new beauties on the couch. We have Founders Girl, Sarah, and we have Aggie Regan Aggie. Y'all say hey at the same time, because that would be like perfect finish to that grand open we had.
Hey!
We didn't nail it.
Y'all almost nailed it. You almost nailed it. So, Yeah, we're just so happy to be here. It's been such a wonderful day, has it not?
It has been a very interesting day.
Uh-huh. Yeah, a fabulous Wednesday it's been. Just a fabulous... Actually, it's been a fabulous Monday through Wednesday. This is like... And we're going to talk about this. We can get into it now if you want to. I don't really care which thing we do first. Actually, I do. I changed my mind. I want to talk about Greta first because I want to get that out of the way. It's been
How dare you!
And I don't want Sarah to have to wait too long to say that because I know she's been waiting all afternoon. Good one, Sarah.
You know it.
Yeah,
that was great.
It was awesome. So, yeah. So let's start with her. We've got some interesting, unless like something really crazy happened that you want to tell everybody about. I do that on my other show, and I think it's fun. I mean, something crazy happened to you guys this week?
I don't know. I really don't know.
It's been that kind of week. Okay, well, let's just jump right into it. Greta's parents are very proud. Yeah, Greta's parents are very proud of themselves. Go.
Oh, well, they should be. I mean, they have done a fabulous job with this kid. And I don't mean that in a good way.
Right.
But, it's what I found really interesting was, you remember when Trump got Person of the Year for Time magazine? And everybody was like bitching about it because, well, so had Hitler, so had Mao and everything. And I'm like, but now that Greta has it, everything is cool again. It's such a great honor to be Person of the Year for Time.
Yeah, like when it was
now it is meaningful.
Now it is meaningful. Like when it was Obama, it was meaningful. It's an honor.
It was meaningful. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I hate to tell you, it's not Sexiest Man of the Year. It's
no.
They kind of failed on that too.
True.
Totally. I kind of understand why Greta was picked. Time magazine has certain guidelines when they pick, someone for Person of the Year. It's never they're not endorsing the person per se. They're just saying they have done the greatest impact on the society or either national scale or global scale. And it's not always a good thing. It sometimes can be a bad thing.
Right.
And that's why Hitler was, got it, and so did Mao Zedong and several other people that, we consider horrible.
It's like the doomsday clock. When it moves, it's not necessarily a good thing, but it's a big thing.
And I think in liberal circles, maybe she made some big impact, but what really is the impact?
Well, for me, and this is something that I noticed, they have, everybody has seen this. They've deified this child. And I call her a child because mentally she's still, since she suffers from, she has Asperger's.
Well, she's a child anyway. I mean,
she's a minor.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yes and no. By our standards, 16 is minor, but not over where she lives. So it depends on what nation she's at. Really, in some places she's considered a full-grown adult.
It might, it might, but this is my opinion. The only places that you're not really a child when you're that age are places like South Africa when they put a machine gun in your hand when you're 8. Those are right. She lives in the developed
with the whole adult thing.
Yes, she's a child in the developed world.
To talk about science that you don't know about at 16.
And just because just because her country will let her choose to be on birth control when she's 13 years old, that doesn't mean that she's an adult.
Yeah, and there are some standards here in our country that we have as to, the definition of adulthood.
Yeah, but they're arbitrary standards. They're like borders in the Middle East. They were drawn by someone else, and they don't have anything to do with actual reality, right? I mean, because they're right.
Now, that said, she willingly puts herself out there. She wants to be the face of this movement, and I think that makes her fair game, even though she has Asperger's. I have more issue with the parents. I cannot conceive of being such a horrible parent as to use a child in this manner. I really don't. I mean, to me, this is child abuse.
What? Aren't her parents actors?
I think her mother is a writer or an activist, or both, and her dad is some kind of activist. I really don't know. All I know is that I've seen the inside of their house, and I cry because they have a chair that costs $10,000, and I'm like, my gosh, I would kill for that chair.
Yeah. So the hypocrisy of activism. I can't even go there. I can't go there today. It was too fun a day. But we're going to talk about that later. It was a fun day.
Let's ditch Greta.
Right, exactly. Anybody that watched the hearings and got mad about it was watching it all wrong. You were watching it wrong if you got mad about it. But yeah, that's not what we're talking about. That poor, I think of it as that poor kid because, so, I mean, growing up, we all had friends that had parents that weren't really parents. So the kids, and if I had to actually be responsible for every decision that I made at 15, I mean, I would not still be alive. And maybe I was stupider than your average child. I don't think I was, not according to my dad. I had at least had some cousins that were, didn't have as much common sense as I did. But at any rate, if I was making life decisions that were going to affect me for the rest of my life, if I was given the decision about whether or not to do this thing, like, I would have totally, I probably totally would have taken that. Oh yeah, you mean I get to be in front of people and I was a dancer. I was a total ham. I get to be on stage. Absolutely, I'm there. I don't care what I'm doing. I get to be on stage. Yay! Everybody looking at me. I would not be screaming. How dare you? I would probably be trying to make people laugh, but that was me, right? So it just, and kids get passionate about stuff, and then exactly like you said, Aggie, they're going to use it, and they're using it for their benefit, and you probably know more about it than I do. So I totally blame her parents and not her at all, because I would have been dumb enough to make myself a target like that at 15. Totally.
To me, the poor child part isn't even just that they've pushed her into the spotlight. It's that she's been raised to believe that the world is literally ending and that no one cares to stop it. She really believes it and is obsessed with it, and that's why it's powerful. That's miserable. That's awful.
That's almost like stage one, right? You could make the argument they raised her to be that way and then took advantage of the fact that she was.
Yeah, they actually used her Asperger's and basically sharpened it and distilled it.
Yeah,
they fed it. Yeah, and that to me is beyond egregious. They did not help her to overcome anything. They actually hindered her to the point where she is so locked in this reality of hers that I don't think she can escape it. Honest to God, I don't think she can.
Yeah, it's sad. Okay, let's talk about acid.
Acid?
See?
I'm getting sad.
I know, right? That's why I wanted to get this out of the way. But then, on the other hand, maybe...
Well, one last thing about Greta is I haven't seen this online anywhere, but she reminds me, do y'all remember the rock opera Tommy by The Who?
Yeah.
This reminds me of Tommy. The way she's being used, the way she's being pushed out there and being made into this deity, she reminds me of Tommy. And it's really creepy.
That is creepy.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing about rock operas. Is that, they come true. I mean, right? Mm-hmm. Right? Rock operas they're a pretty accurate prediction of the future. Brick in the wall. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where it's headed.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty crazy. I never thought about that, but I totally see what you're saying, Aggie. Did we lose Aggie?
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I was reading the chat. A little lower, Aggie.
Yeah. So, all right, what was the other thing that you ladies wanted to talk about, or did you want to talk about acid?
Acid sounds good.
Let's do
okay. So, all right, so if you watched the hearings and got mad today, you were doing it wrong. So, first of all, Cowboy Swagger comes in the room, right? So Lindsey Graham is like, so I'm not going to take 20 minutes for my opening statement. I hadn't done a 20-minute opening statement in I don't know how long. It's going to take a lot longer than that. And he starts reading text messages back and forth between the...
like my mother-in-law.
Right? And it was like, he was getting aggravated. The Democrats in the room were like, they all had their heads down. And Lindsay just kept reading, and like, Horowitz had a look on his face like, I don't know where the hell this is going. And Lindsay just like, for 45 minutes, he's reading text messages between Strzok and Page, and between Kleinsmith. And Kleinsmith is the one that changed the email. But, yeah, so from like November to January of November 2015 to January, Kleinsmith is sending messages about he sounds like the biggest friggin' baby. So Cowboy Swagger is sitting on the, sitting there in the chairman's chair reading text messages from Cowboy Baby. The big crybaby lawyer about Trump, whining about Trump. And oh my gosh, he's such a disaster. No, dude, you are. You're whining in text messages about who the president is, and you're an FBI lawyer investigating the president. First of all, you're stupid. Who does that? Who is dumb enough to text someone about their boss when their boss is the president?
It was, for me, it's almost like they felt like it doesn't matter if we do it because it's not going to be any punishment if we do.
They're double stupid.
Ignorant. Yeah, it really was.
Triple stupid. They really thought they were going to get him out of office before he found out about what they were doing. Triple stupid. But Cowboy Swagger is going to sit up there and read their text messages because you know they're all watching this. You know they're watching.
I am so trying to picture Lindsey Graham as a cowboy, and I can't do it.
I'm sorry, no.
What should I call it? I bet if I called him Huckleberry Hound, that would be all right. What, you get that, right?
That would go over.
Yeah, okay. So Huckleberry Hound. But that actually is fitting because Huckleberry Hound doesn't give 1 0 either. He has 0. Huckleberry Hound has $0 to give. 0.
Yes. Lindsay is there.
Yes, Lindsay is definitely in the. I need another word. In the 0 pucks range. No pucks at all. Thank you, hockey, for giving me that replacement word. So, yeah. So first he's reading their text messages, and then like the other funny thing that's happening. Because we're gonna go to a break and we're gonna come back and we're gonna play the funniest one coming out of break, and then we can go on to the next topic. But we're gonna do that coming out of break just because it's so freaking funny. And it's so funny we might play it twice. But the other thing that was funny that happened is they would flip back to the Democrat side of the room, and then the Republican would come next, and no lie, half of them, the first words out of their mouth were, okay, well, I just need to say to Mike Lee that I wish you weren't in this room because you tried to tell us and we all laughed at you. Like 6 of them. Like, I wish Mike Lee were not sitting so close to me because I told him he was crazy. So evidently, he's been telling them for God only knows how long that it's true, it's not a conspiracy theory, the FBI really did all this crazy stuff, and the rest of them were going, no, you're crazy. That is too insane. There is no way I believe that anybody in the FBI is that crazy. Guess what?
They're crazy.
They are that crazy. So at least 6 people, lost a bet to Mike Lee, or owe Mike Lee a beer. They probably took him all out for beers. Yeah, and he was just like, and he wasn't funny. And I was like, dude, everybody else is being really, really funny. Why you need to be funny like the rest of these guys? But he wasn't funny at all. And then of course, the Democrats would they'd get all, but the conversations between most of them with Horowitz were, I can't even believe what I'm looking at. It's like everybody's jaw was on the table and nobody could even believe what they just read, right? They've had 2 days to read this and they can't even believe what and Horowitz was like, I can't believe it either, right? What was it Mike Lee said? Mike Lee starts closing and he said, So what you're telling me is, and I can't remember, Ted Cruz.
You mean Ted Cruz?
Yeah, Ted Cruz. And I can't remember how he finished that.
He said the best line.
What he said.
It was. I laughed so hard I forgot it. Come on, Aggie, bring it in.
Gosh, he said, this is not... this is not Jason Bourne. This is Beavis and Butthead.
That was it! So what you're telling me, that was it!
I was just like...
I laughed so hard, I spit my coffee. I'm sitting here on my computer and I'm looking through all this code. Totally caught me off guard. Completely caught me off guard.
I know a lot of people don't like Ted Cruz, and a lot of people have issues with him and everything. And I'm from Texas, so I really do like him because I have seen him since he was, our Solicitor General, and I knew people that worked at the legislature, and they would overhear people saying, they didn't want to bring up anything and have the Solicitor General be, the prosecuting, because they were so afraid of him, because he was that good.
I like that. I like that. I don't have anything against Ted Cruz. I'm crazy about Ted Cruz. That comment was perfect.
And yeah, it is. And he eviscerates. I mean, he can just take the argument and just chop it to pieces and just eviscerate a person. And it really is beautiful to watch, because he just doesn't do any bullshit. And I think even after the contentions with Trump and Cruz during the primary was really harsh and everything.
Yeah, they were less than a lot of people. They were less than him and Lindsey Graham. It was way more. I mean, the telephone stuff was great, actually. But but I don't think anybody. I don't think any of them or any of us are even thinking about that anymore. I think that could be that is so.
I
far.
See a lot of the Never Trumpers really have no respect for Cruz, simply because Cruz actually forgave Trump for the things that he said and is now working with Trump.
Okay,
and
Never Trumpers are more fond of Hillary than they are of people like Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham. I have zero respect for any of them, just because they're so whiny and butthurt. If nothing, I mean, if nothing else, I just really, and I won't say I have no respect for any of them. I'm sure there's probably somewhere I respect, but I don't. And I was a late comer. And I will not call. I will not call myself even now on the Trump train. I'm not. Sometimes
I was gonna say, Lou.
I know, right? You see, Sarah knows. Sarah knows.
I call myself a Trump skeptic. I will give credit where credit is due, but I'm still a skeptic. I really am.
Well,
but so far I haven't had that many complaints.
Right, personally, even policy. But as far as him being a target rather than a perp, I think that's clear, right?
That is very
And I think that, and a lot of us said from the beginning, like especially those of us who did not like him and supported Ted Cruz and Carly Fiorina and people like that, a lot of us said, the left is going to push us closer and closer and closer to what constitutes or looks like or might seem a little bit like a Trump supporter.
They are actually pushing a lot of people that did not support Trump first time around into voting for him in 2020. I've had a lot of people. I actually have two of my neighbors who are Democrats telling me that they're going to vote for Trump.
I'm not at all surprised.
They just can't deal with what the Democratic Party is doing with.
Right. And as a not huge fan of Trump at all they had to do was not be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They can't do it. They cannot.
That is the beauty. Because you are so right. That's all they had to do is not be crazy. Not be corrupt. Actually, they probably could have been crazy and not been corrupt. But they were both.
Yeah.
They were both.
Well, they never had a chance at not being corrupt. Come on.
Right. You're right. So all they had to do was not be crazy.
They just had to not show they're crazy.
Yeah, or that.
Or just be a good crazy. A good crazy would have been neat.
Have a decent candidate in the primary. They couldn't even do that. Because they don't. I mean, well, and you know what? Well, I don't know. Tulsi is way too much of a socialist.
She's hot, though.
Well, yeah. See, somebody like Tulsi that's not such a socialist.
Right. Mm-hmm. She was a little less socialist.
Could have probably won people over. All they had to, it was theirs to lose. And they managed to do that probably the first 9 to 12 months, I would say, because I think they turned enough people in that amount of time that was already lost, and it just got worse and worse and worse. So I don't really know what they're thinking, but we can all think about it while we're at break. Here's some nice Christmas music for you. And oh no, that's not Christmas music.
Aggie's gonna sing.
No.
We count on you for that, Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes, you guys.
I really can't stay.
Baby, it's cold outside.
I gotta go away.
Baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has been
hoping that you dropped in.
Very nice.
I'll hold your hands, they're just like
my mother will start to worry.
Beautiful, what's your
My father
hurry?
will be pacing the floor.
Listen to that fireplace
So
roar.
really I'd better scurry.
Beautiful, please don't
But
hurry.
maybe just a soda pop more.
Put some records on while I
The
pour.
neighbors might think,
Baby, it's bad out there.
say, was that a wink?
No cabs to be had out there.
I wish I knew how
Your eyes are like starlight
to
now.
break this spell.
I'll take your hat, your hair looks
I
swell.
ought to get home for dinner.
Mind if I move
So
in
it's time
closer?
for me to cast you aside.
What's the sense of hurting my
I
pride?
really can't say.
Baby, don't hold out.
Baby, it's cold outside. I simply must go.
Baby, it's cold outside.
So thanks for the show.
But baby, it's cold outside.
The welcome has been
How lucky that you
so
dropped in.
nice and warm.
Look out the window at that
My
storm.
sister will be
Gosh, your
suspicious.
lips look delicious.
My brother will be there at the door.
Waves upon a tropical shore.
My maiden aunt's mind is
Gosh,
vicious.
your lips are delicious.
Maybe just another dance
Never
floor.
such a blizzard before.
I gotta get home.
Baby, you freeze out there.
Say, lend me your comb.
It's up to your knees out there.
You've really been grand.
I feel when I touch your
But
hand.
don't you see?
How can you do this thing to me?
There's bound to be a talk tomorrow.
Think of my lifelong
At least
sorrow.
there'll be plenty in
If
play.
you got pneumonia, you
I
die.
really can't stay.
Get over that old love. Baby, it's cold.
All right, we're back. Okay, so listen to Senator Kennedy, who is a laugh riot all the time, but this is like some of his best work, so you guys got to hear this. This is from the hearing today, and this is him opening up his questioning with Mr. Horowitz.
After I haven't read the entire report. I'm about 70% of the way through, but I'm going to finish it. It's tedious.
Yes.
I don't mean that in a pejorative sense. It's supposed to be tedious.
Right.
After about 15% of the way through, it made me want to heave. After about 25% of the way through, I thought I'd dropped acid. It's surreal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just couldn't believe it.
I've read it multiple times, and every time I read it.
So it sounds like I cut Mr. Horowitz off there, but I actually didn't. He was sitting there, and it was a good 3 seconds. I just ended it after 3 seconds of him pushing his hands forward a few times, trying to say something with his jaw on the table, and nothing would come out. Eventually, Senator Kennedy saves him from himself and says something, right, to kind of move the conversation along. But Horowitz, after agreeing that reading his own report makes you feel a little bit like you're dropping acid, then couldn't even speak.
I love those things that just cause dead silence.
So if you watched the hearings and you didn't laugh, you were doing it all wrong. Keep that in mind when all of the Senate stuff comes up, because guaranteed, especially after the reports that they've gotten over the past week from the House, and then this, and then the other reports that they've already gotten, and the criminal referrals and everything else that they've gotten. I know why Trump has been saying, have a trial in the Senate. Let's do it. Let's go. Come at me, bro, because it's going to be funny. It's just going to be... it is. One of them... I can't remember who called it a circus without a tent. I mean, it's...
But that's what it is.
I know, right? You would have thought that every one of them, and a lot of them are, but you would have thought that every one of those senators were from Texas or Louisiana, because that's the kind of phraseology that was coming out of them today. I mean, it was an episode of Mayberry. And why can't I think of the name of that show?
Andy Griffith.
It's an episode of Andy Griffith with the whole damn Darlin family.
I only know this because my 13-year-old is obsessed with it.
Oh, well, then you know all about the Darlins and what that show was like when the whole damn Darlin family was on it. So anyway, let's move this conversation along. Aggie.
Wait, hold on. I have to say that I really enjoyed Lou's version of the impeachment hearings much better than anything I've seen on TV.
This is true. I got to give her props.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm available all week. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, really seriously, if you can't make comedy out of this stuff, you're just, I mean, you need to, like, turn your hat around and imagine that you're watching a Saturday Night Live skit, because it really, seriously, it works. Oh, and the other thing that we didn't say about Ted Cruz is when he said that, when he made that comment about, it's not Jason Bourne, it's Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
Amy Klobuchar actually said, okay, I'm going to bring this back down a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I bet you are, Amy. That's exactly what you need, is like to bring it down a little. I'm snoozing. Let's all take a nap. Amy's talking. Okay, so we were going to talk about banana art.
Okay, I want to take a quick poll. Who would eat the banana off the wall?
Not for all the tea in China. No,
why? Because you don't know where it's been?
Well, the thing is,
it's peel.
Yeah, it has a peel.
Very, very good. Oh, props.
That was not intentional.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. So why wouldn't you eat it? It's just a banana.
Yeah, it is. And it does have a peel.
Yeah, it has
and
a peel.
So it does have some kind of protection, but I don't know.
I really put you on the spot here, didn't I, about the banana?
My first thought is that maybe, and this goes back to when I was doing, art in high school or whatever. Sometimes when we used fruit, we would put some kind of coating on it to make it stay fresh longer.
Yes.
So, and it's not edible. So for me, it would be like, if he's going to put a banana with duct tape on a wall and command thousands of dollars, I'm pretty sure he used some kind of formaldehyde or something to make it stay fresher longer.
It's what's inside that counts, Amy.
Oh, God. No.
Yeah.
You did not.
I wouldn't eat the damn thing because it's not green. I like green bananas.
Okay. We're finding out about everybody's weirdness tonight. Yeah, I doubt I would eat the banana because I would look at it and be like, somebody just paid like $100,000 for that. I'm not eating that. I'm not going to jail today. Right? I mean,
I'm not sure if this was a joke, a meme or something, or if this actually happened. But I heard that after the banana was removed, somebody wrote that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself on the wall, and they had to cover it up. But I cannot.
That's true. You know it's true. Of course it happened. Of course that happened.
I would have done it, but it was not me. I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I have an alibi. So.
Did you see the one that's like the Michelangelo painting where the hands are touching and one has duct tape and one has a banana? Awesome. You need a visual. I'm sorry, but
that's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm gonna have to go looking for that.
I don't need a visual for that. That's actually really good.
So artistic.
Yeah. So what's the result of the poll? How many people would eat the banana, Sarah?
Oh, yeah, Lou, are you eating the banana?
I am not.
Yes, Aggie's not eating the banana. No, I wouldn't, but for really weird reasons that I don't want to go into. My sister's an artist, so it would be like me splashing paint on one of her paintings.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's more about the art. Yeah, it's more about the art than it is about the food. I didn't think it was real, though. I didn't think it was a real banana until the guy ate it. And I thought that the thing about him eating it was like just a joke, right? So I thought it was like Screamy Lady and Cat.
That needed to happen.
Yeah, I guess so. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's been since last Wednesday, right? Since our last red wine. Too many crazy things have happened. It's like we're in this weird vortex of weirdness. That's a juxtaposition, though. So, I mean, I don't... Is it just me?
I don't think so.
Okay, so weirdness.
What else is weird?
No press party for Christmas at the White House.
Yeah, Trump did away with that last year. He was like, "Why should I host people that hate me?"
Right, exactly. I'm having a party at my house this Christmas for everyone who hates me.
and this is what really freaked me out. I mean, there was this one gal, I should say. She actually posted a tweet saying, "The canceling of the White House media Christmas party was a story last year, and now it's just gone. And it's not even a thing, like the press briefing and the New York Times WAPA subscriptions." And I'm like, okay, so you hate this administration. You admit to hating this administration. You vilify this administration at every opportunity. You get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to see what Trump is tweeting so you can criticize it. But now you're bitching because he's not hosting a party that you can attend? Are you kidding me?
I totally get it. I know why.
Why?
It's like when Charles Clymer blocked me. Like, I want to pick on the little bastard. And I can't go to his party anymore.
Oh my gosh. When he blocked me, I was like, I had never even, I think I had responded to one of his tweets asking him for a link to verify what he was saying. And then he just blocked me. That was it. I was like, never rude.
Happy.
And I was like, well, okay.
See,
enjoy
like
your flag.
No White House party for you.
Yeah. That's right.
So Trump is not hosting a White House press party for Christmas, and some of the journalists are upset. And I'm like, I think what makes them upset is that they wanted to go have free food and liquor, and then turn around and bitch at him for it.
Yeah,
and they don't have the opportunity to bitch at him for giving them food and drink. So they're going to bitch at him for not giving them food and drink.
I do think it would be kind of fun if he had them all over for Chick-fil-A.
Oh, that would be so epic.
That would be awesome.
And Fireball.
Tweet him that.
Yes.
Tweet him that, Sarah. Chick-fil-A and Fireball. I have a single 4-letter word for why they're upset.
Why?
Trump.
Pussy doesn't have 4 letters. Wait, hold on.
Trump.
Wait, Trump has 5 letters.
Okay. I have a single 5-letter word. I wish I could claim that I was drinking. I'm not. I have a single 5-letter word.
I'm drinking enough for the both of us, Lou. It's okay.
You said there'd be no maths. Yeah.
That's right.
One word. One word for why they're upset. Trump. That's it. That's all you need to know. And back to that thing about pushing people closer and closer to him. The more the press hates him, the more America loves him, because America hates the press. Look at the polls.
I think so. I think Americans are at the point where they really see Trump as being the lesser of the two evils.
Uh-huh.
So they're picking him over the media.
Well, they've flat out. I think America's flat out gone to the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
That's a dangerous road. But
well,
yeah,
it is.
I see it.
Yeah, it totally is. But I think that's where we are, and I think that the press would like for people to think. Sarah, do you agree with me here? The press would like for people to think that America that hates them. You know, Trump supporters hate them because they hate Trump, but it's actually the other way around. People like Trump because the press hates him.
Yeah.
Yes,
I do.
Totally.
I have seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Tell Sarah, you have stupid questions from people on Twitter.
Yes. I asked for topic suggestions, and Brunus Cuntus, is that how you say that? Sorry, wait, hold on. Brunus Cutis. Okay.
I like the first one for certain situations. I'm going to use that. Consider it stolen.
I hope he hears that. Okay, so he would like to know who calls them sweater puppies. Anybody?
I have no idea.
I know exactly what a sweater puppy is, and that's not fun. Yeah.
I have some.
I know what it is. I don't know who came up with the term, though.
Did you ask Brutus if he had sweater puppies?
No, I will write that down.
Okay. Yeah, that's our question for Brutus. Does he have his own sweater puppies?
Along the same lines, I mean, he had a whole list. Okay, dumb dog names. I have one. I hate it when people name their dog Sarah.
Oh, I bet you do.
I actually have a cute story about dog names, and it's really funny. When I was in high school, actually, when I was in elementary school, I was in orchestra all throughout my elementary, junior high, and high school.
Wow.
And we had different teachers for each section. I was a viola player, and my teacher for the viola section really liked my first name, and she decided to adopt a dog and named it after me.
Oh, that's not creepy.
Everybody in the orchestra made fun of me because a dog was named after me. And I said, this woman loves that dog like it was her own child and named it after me. You guys are just jealous that I beat you out to it.
That's so big of you.
Did you say elementary school?
And then when they saw that, it is a big deal to name a dog after somebody, they were like, well, shit.
That's funny.
So I like it when they name dogs after me. I'm a dog person, so I get it.
I can't even remember who it was, but someone named their dog after themselves. Maybe that was on a TV show. That was really dumb.
I would not be surprised if it was George Foreman.
It was George Foreman. You might not be the only one, but I believe
Hold
he
on.
did.
After Eggie's story, I have to explain why I hate it when dogs are named Sarah, because picture this. I'm laying on the beach, it's sunny, my kids are busy, and then I hear, Sarah, sit! Sarah, stop!
Okay.
So, please don't name bad dogs Sarah.
Well, every dog's going to be bad sometime, but I've never named a dog Sarah. I name my dogs after people or with people names sometimes, but not with, like, really people. I mean, not with people names that you hear a lot. Like, one dog is named Gus, and one is named Ruby.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah, well, Ruby is red, so it kind of makes sense. But Gus is the astronaut, Gus Grissom, and, you know, that was the first, like, well, anyway.
1, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I saw his capsule at Cape Canaveral and made a big impression on me, blah, 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 long story. Anyway, so Gus is named after him. But I don't know, you don't hear those names that often, so it's not like, I doubt I'm going to take my dogs to the beach and yell, Gus, 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 and there's actually going to be a Gus on the beach, but it could happen, but I'll think about that, Sarah.
It could happen.
I'll think about that in the future when I'm picking dog names. I can assure you that the funniest thing, and I've actually known people that did this because, you know, Southerners do stuff like this, people who name their dogs like shithead, dumbass, whatever. So when you call them,
got a dog named Damn It.
Yeah, exactly, right, exactly. And somebody that named their cat something, I can't remember what it was. But when you yell at them and you call them, it's like people look at you like, "Oh my God, who are you talking to? You talking to me? You talking to me?" Yeah, that's pretty funny.
My dad really wanted a pot-bellied pig named Hormel.
Oh.
That's just a funny story to tell. What other dumb questions or dumb topics do we have?
Okay, who puts olives in tamales?
Nobody that I know of.
The same people that put,
I don't know where the hell that came
the same
from.
people that put pineapple on pizza.
Oh.
Now, in Puerto Rico, we have something that's similar to a tamale, and it does have olives in it, but it's not a tamale. I mean,
does it have masa? Why is it like a tamale?
It's kind of a masa, and instead of a corn husk, we actually use a plantain leaf to hold it together when it cooks. And the filling has it's meat and potatoes. There's olives. There's pimentos. There's
that's the answer. That's the answer then. Puerto Rican.
So,
that actually sounds delicious. Puerto Ricans.
Puerto Ricans.
Yeah. Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans, man.
Yeah. Puerto Ricans. Okay, now we're starting to sound like Archie. Yeah, now we're starting to sound like Archie Bunker. So, Puerto Ricans.
Do we want one more stupid question?
Yes, give us another one.
Okay, last one, also food related, and it's the best peanut butter and jelly recipe, but I think instead we should do, like, your best sandwich recipe. What do you guys got? Who's making sandwiches?
Let's see. My version of the perfect sandwich is bacon and tomato, and more bacon, another layer of bacon, tomato, just a thin swipe of mayo, a little bit of lettuce to begin with and to end with, and that's it.
Yum. Okay, wait, garden fresh tomatoes, please.
Yes.
Well, see, and that
usually I use heirloom, so.
Yeah, and see, that's
big one.
My sandwich, because I'm from Georgia. My favorite sandwich is like a tomato sandwich, and it's just tomatoes and some mayonnaise and salt and pepper. But it's really people laugh at us for eating tomato sandwiches, but fresh tomatoes, like, okay, so when you live somewhere that 9 months out of the year you can have fresh tomatoes from the garden, you'd be eating tomato sandwiches too. Yeah, and you have so daggum many of them. I mean, eventually you just eat a tomato sandwich because you've got hundreds of tomatoes laying around.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah, but I mean, I can make a really good sandwich. I have probably the best, according to the people that I've made it for, pimento cheese recipe in the world. So I make a really mean pimento and cheese, which is another southern thing, but it made right. It's good. Like cornbread, if you make it right, it's really good. What about you? What about you, Sarah? What's your best sandwich recipe?
I can't decide. I didn't think about my answer. My answer is I'll just go with turkey and avocado and bacon and tomato and no damn mayonnaise.
That sounds really good.
I'm not a fan of mayonnaise, but I just put the mayonnaise.
I hate mayonnaise.
I really like sandwiches with pesto, like Italian meats and pesto, and that's
ground mustard is really good too for me.
Yeah, and I like that too.
Yeah, on the right meat.
It's a really good sandwich: grilled cheese with Gruyere and Gouda and fig jam, and then you grill it.
That is good.
Fabulous.
Or any kind of jam. Yeah, it's stinky cheese, grilled cheese sandwich with jam is good.
So now I want a sandwich.
I know, right?
I'm getting hungry now.
And I want a Puerto Rican tamale.
Yeah.
That sounds really good. I wish somebody would make me some Puerto Rican tamales.
What are they really called, Aggie?
They're called pasteles.
Pasteles?
Pasteles. That's what they're called. Now, not to be confused with alcapurrias, which is even a longer word, even though it's a shorter item. That one is. Try that. Yeah, that's deep fried. It's so instead of cooked like a tamale, steamed or whatever.
Now you're talking.
Our tamale version is called a pastel. Yeah.
Okay. If we're gonna leave hungry, I don't know if that's a good thing.
I know, right? Well, yeah. Yeah, I started hungry because, as you know, I forgot to eat.
No, you were eating potato chips.
No, I forgot to eat today. Anyway.
Oh my word.
Wait, yeah, it's a long story. I won't tell on the air, but I was too busy laughing at senators on acid. So this show's about over. Say goodnight and tell them where you are, Sarah.
Good night, you guys. I am Founders Girl on Twitter, and I am part of the Another Bleeping Podcast. We are at bleepingpodcast.com, and we have a Twitter site. We're super exciting.
Yep, and you're on KLRN on Thursday nights at...
Yes, Thursday nights, usually at 6:30, but tomorrow at 6 o'clock, because we're having a real serious nonsense takeover with artist Angie and Pull, if you guys remember them.
And that's West Coast time, so add 3 hours if you're on the East Coast.
Yeah, whatever. I'm the only person on the West Coast.
Lucky you. And Aggie is on with Laura Lee on Tuesdays at 9.
That's right.
9 Eastern. And
and with Princess Lou.
Yeah, I produce. I don't really talk on that show. So if you ever want to not hear me, but know I'm there, that's the show to listen to. A Pod Divided. And I'm here on Mondays at 10 p.m. with Orty and Jeff, who are both in the chat room. Thanks for joining, you guys. Love ya. And Cyber Wars Podcast on Twitter. So...
that's my dream, to have a podcast with Orty and just talk about food. Food all the time.
He might have freed up a couple of hours. You should talk to him. He might have freed up a couple of hours recently. So, thanks, you guys. I think we got Rick coming up next.
Alrighty.
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, Orty. Rick on tonight? Maybe he's not there. I believe that Rick is on tonight. So, if he's not, you'll find him tomorrow night. And we will see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us on the couch. And everybody take care. Have a good one.
Good night.
Good night.